two nuns on holiday in Greece, and one of them had been there several times before, and they decided to go on two donkeys round the coastline, and they're going along, and it's a cobbled road, and the donkeys were sort of stumbling a little bit. One nun who'd been there before said to the other one, I haven't come this way before, and the other nun said, oh, nor have I. Anyway, they carried on, and as I say, it's a sweltering hot day, and there wasn't many people around, and they come across this lady in the middle of nowhere selling melons, and the lady was on her back with her knickers down and her skirt raised up while she was eating this melon. And the nun stopped and said, excuse me, young lady, could you sell us two melons, please? And may I ask, is that the way of keeping cool on this hot day? And the woman replies, oh, no, it actually keeps the flies off my melons.
That is disgusting, isn't it? I thought, should I chance it? Yeah.
I like a good pair of melons, what can I say?
Right, so good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting show. We've got Nathan Von Who, and I'm Eric Von Watt. So what and who tonight? And we've got a lineup of people in chat. Also, we're on Rumble as well. So there's 3 people on Rumble. That's pretty good, isn't it? It's cost me a lot of money.
But I'm one of them, so it's technically only 2.
Oh, so you're looking at it as well. So I'm waving to you, but it's actually Rumble. But
hello.
And I turned off the. I didn't really want to go live on Facebook at the same time, but in future weeks we'll be doing live shows on Rumble. And I've got a couple of call outs. Christine sent me some lovely top tips on her email. So Christine, very, very kind of you. And we're going to do top tip program. Top tips, I said. Program on future shows. So I'm going to file that, so ready to read that out. And it's very interesting. And also, if you want to send some gags in, which I can crack at the beginning, more than welcome, because this one today, I think it was really dragging the ball, wasn't it? I might get me banned, you never know.
That sounds too much like wishful thinking, Eric. You might know.
Yeah. Well, think about it.
To be fair, I think YouTube enjoys a bit of smut.
I'm actually thinking that, as we were saying before the show, I've insulted just about every country in the world and every religion in the world. So if there's anybody left out, please, don't feel left out. Just tell me and I'll insult you free of charge. Right.
Was it fair doing?
Before we start, should we have a quick look in chat? I'll have a look in Rumble. No, nobody's in chat yet in Rumble, right? We're on.
Well, it won't let me in because it wants me to verify the account. So I'm like, I'm in the huff now. I didn't want to type in there anyway, Rumble. Whatever.
Right, so excuse me if I keep looking into Nathan's ear roll, which I'm not. I'm just looking into. Oh, hang on. I feel like I am backstage. As someone's said in Rumble. Yes, so do I. Vin Landerson has
so the only thing with that is if they're backstage, then they require a Fuckham Hall backstage pass, and that's going to cost them.
Precisely.
Coffee time.
But remember, this is just a test broadcast, so we'll be getting better, more professional, insulting people in future shows. You see, so there we go. Now, comments here. We got Chris the Gardener.
Oh, Chris.
Hello, Chris. We got South Coast Rich. Evening, Chris and Chris. Chris and Chris. Oh, yes, Chris and Chris. What about Nathan? We got Matt in Kingston. Good evening, everyone. The land of what are those discs that you Kingston discs, is it? Yes. We've got Cat Holly. These things. Here we are. What they're called?
Right. The USB sticks.
Memory sticks.
Yeah.
Kingston, yes. So, do you live in the actual factory, or do you? See, I've insulted him now. There we go. Right. Hi, Richard, South Coast. Where on the South Coast are you? I grew up in Portsmouth once upon a time. And by the way, we've got to do a call out to all our embassies and missions. We've got, we've got an embassy in Siam. Evening, John. Oh, well, actually, no, it'd be morning there because they're 7 hours ahead of us. So good morning, John. And you know that we've got, that's the embassy, and he's actually bringing Fockham culture to the people that still like to wear a mask in Siam, you see. And then we've got Chris, who's got a Fockham mission in Norfolk called Norfolk in Chance, you see. Nothing rude there, is there? Norfolk in Chance. You've got one in Tyneside, haven't you? What's it called? It's called Fockham.
Teesside's all right. Teesside sucks.
Sorry, what was that?
No, I said it's Teesside. Tyneside's all right. I don't mind it up there, but Teesside sucks.
Teesside Shipville mission, and you're bringing Fockham culture to the primitive people who wear masks in, was it Teesside?
Yes, and I shall shout "fuck 'em all" with glee and reverence.
Thank you, Father. Did you do the sign? What was it? That's the pearl.
I do a very strange one. It looks a bit like that. I don't know, but that's people tend to get offended with that when they, you know.
Yeah.
They're looking at me and I'm just going through the street going, well, you know, the Queen's had her wave, you know, I've got mine.
Was it? Matt on Kingston says, I don't want to see Eric's Aura Borealis. No, nor do I.
Let's party poop with
that. Hatchie says, I'm in Hedge End, Southampton. Everybody's got to be somewhere, isn't they, I suppose?
Hedge End. I don't know. That sounds like going on its own.
And we got here on Rumble, I'll pay, but where's the beer and women?
I've been looking for the women for quite some time. I'm afraid if you're a bloke, we're screwed, mate. It's drying up now. We're done for.
Right. Vin Landerson, that is. Evening, Vin Landerson. Nice for you to join us. Are you from the Arctic North somewhere? You know, with the name Vin Landerson. Sounds a bit sort of Nordic, doesn't it? You know. Now, Chris the Gardener says, I prefer Norfolk good. Mr. F on Essex, like the song by the Kippers.
It's good.
Right. Now, yes. Are you near the Bold Forester? No, I'm sitting here on my own at the moment with Nathan next to me. Oh, sorry, he's talking about his location in Portsmouth. And we got here. I work in Titchfield nowadays. Poor sod. Oh, really? Did you do anything wrong to get there? Or I suppose someone's got to go there.
It sounds like my dream destination, that, Eric, which is Titsfield.
Titsfield, yeah.
Titsfield, yeah. That is, so it must be the twin of Titsfield. It's where every bloke wants to be, unless you're on a BBC.
I've got clean tits in my garden. Blue tits, I'm talking about, because I've got a bird bath, you see. Nothing rude there, is there? Nothing like having clean tits or someone having a wash, you know.
There's nothing wrong with saying tits in the bath on YouTube.
No. But as we're on Rumble as well, we can say tit and bum, can't we? Yes, that's right. Get away with it. Right. Now, shall we on with the show? I don't think there's any more call-outs, and if I've forgotten anybody, tough. No, actually, if there's any call-outs, please remind me in the chat room. And so on with the show. Snoops. And before we go any further, you know, coming up to D-Day, you know, I'm going to do special ones, and we're going to do one. We might have one about Churchill called Fact Hunt. FACTHUNT. Nothing rude, is it?
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? Right.
It's a wonderful example of humanity.
I mustn't say. Hi, hope all is well. That's Paul Green. That's good.
Hello.
Right. So we're going to talk about Truth Snoops. So, and we're not on Facebook, so we can say what we want. I managed to turn it off before we went live. So,
right, well, yeah, go on. Open us up. Let's see what we got.
What?
Well, I'm going to let you introduce this one because it's a bit of a sore subject for both of us, I think.
Well, it is. What we're talking about is how the truth movement has been infiltrated without them knowing it, and how they've been brainwashed without them knowing it. And there's loads of people going, "Oh, I'm switching this off now, bloody cheeky bastard, and all that sort of. Good, goodbye." We set the Klaxons off at YouTube as well. And the 77 Brigade, they even got their earphones onto this one. Hang on. But I don't believe the 70s. I think the 77 Brigade doesn't exist. I think it's just made up. Because do you tell your own? No, you don't.
No, I was going to say, I have it on good authority that they do exist. They're not as big as people think in terms of a unit size, but apparently they're very real and they're very present in certain truther social media groups and the likes. So yeah, unfortunately, I think that one's qualified as true.
Well, Vin Landerson on Rumble has said, again, I'm looking into your ear hole, said, great topic. Cheers, great topic. All right, mate. I'm not ignoring you, Vin Landerson. I've just got to look at the other screen, you see. Right, now, the thing is that I think we're going to get a bit more professional at this double thing as time goes on. So please excuse me tonight. Now, the thing is that we've got all these, for example, when we had these marches, people like going down there for the good old-fashioned knees up. They went down to London, and, but it was all very choreographed. It was all sort of the police stand back, then they go in, and we say, "Look at these nasty policemen hitting people and arresting them." To me, it's a pantomime because they didn't really prove anything, did they? I mean, they didn't change anything. The only way you're going to change anything, I think, is civil disobedience. So, you get a parking fine, shove it up your backside, as far as I'm concerned. Councils, when talking in councils, they say, "You've only got 2 minutes to speak." No, we pay your wages, we'll speak as long as we believe in me to. So that's it. That's what it should be. We will speak for as long as it takes. We are the bosses and crack the whip. But I think that going back to this book that I'm writing about bullshit.
I was wondering if you were going to mention this, actually.
Yes, this is the book. This is my diary, actually. There are people to people, as Danny Kaye once said, are very nice, generally. It's only when they get in groups we get the problems.
Yes.
And I've found that people change into characters that are not necessarily them. And I think that it's a kind of hypnotism which we're all prone to, and a hive mind which we're all prone to, which I've had. I admit it. I've now woken up. It was because everybody's trying to appease the group leader. And the trouble is, that is the big problem, because we've been brought up and been conditioned to have leadership. Whereas groups like the Yellow Vests in France, they didn't have a leader. And when you look at the Boer War, Boers, no, not boring people, they're rather interesting. I'm very boring, I'm from South Africa, bloody Boers, Sorry. We've just lost our South African people now.
You've alienated none of your South African followers then.
Because they'd say apparently they're groups of 3 and they didn't really have commands as such. They say, we're going to go and we're going to go and hold up the British Army tonight, and no, I'm busy milking the bloody cow. My brother will come along with you. And it was all sort of very easy go, but they were bloody successful, and they were so successful that Britain had to do a scorched earth policy of burning their crops and putting their folk into camps, concentration camps, because Britain invented concentration camps in 1900 and 1901. That was the sort of Boer War, the Second Boer War. So when you think how successful that was, it tied up the British Army in South Africa. And I think that this is why at school and that you will have to be in a club. You have to be part of a group. You have to be part of the team, because that gives the pecking order. That's conditioned into us. So what's your view on that?
Well, I would agree with you completely. I mean, it's about getting you entrained to respect authority, isn't it? So we're in if you can get them young, and like you just said there in a school playground, get them young, get them entrained, and then they'll just think that that's the normal way of doing things. They won't question it. They'll accept it as the way it is, and they'll carry on from there. In terms of kind of putting in an authority figure or a leader in place, it's seems to be the way it's done. But in terms of group dynamics, I mean, I think you're right. We've got archetypes within the group, and then we've got archetypal groups, and we've also got to be careful in terms of cult formation, because I think what happens, especially if it's a niche area or so specifically for truther groups or conspiracy groups, new age groups, things like that, we tend to gather into this. Well, you said it again, a hive mentality, a hive mindset, and then it's strange. It's as if we're trying to impress somebody.
Yes, spot on. That's a good point.
Yeah. Well, a friend of mine mentioned about purity spirals, and he said that it's basically a case of you've always got to outdo the other people in the group by convincing everyone that you know slightly more than they do, or that you're more hardcore than they are, and that you know it doesn't matter how much you know, you've got to go that extra mile to prove that you know more, you know a little bit better than everyone else, and everyone who falls behind on that suddenly becomes marginalized and then starts to fall to the outer parts of the group. And of course, when that happens, they start to feel isolated and lone. Well, I was going to say that they're made to either comply or get out, kind of thing. It seems to be that kind of dynamic. And of course, then the people who like to rule with authority or like to step up and direct the groups, if you like, I don't know, the power gets to their head at that point. And so that it's when the group makes, when you can see the clear, I don't want to call it leadership, but the clear the upper hierarchy of the groups. I don't know, they seem to get a bit tyrannical.
Spot on. Yeah. Because once, see, I've found that when a group starts and a person says, no, I don't want to be the leader, but we'll do this, we'll do that, and they're very modest, that is how it works perfectly, because nobody's trying to crawl up the greasy pole to appease the leader. But then once you get the big I-ams come in and get rid of them, then it becomes a cult. And I think people are looking at it like a religion. People are frightened of being excommunicated. Like in a religion, you say something wrong, they say, I know that, I think the not the Mormons, the people knock around the doors, Jehovah's Witnesses.
Witnesses, yeah.
Yeah, because I keep saying I wasn't at the scene of the accident, but they keep knocking on the door, Jehovah's Witnesses. But no, that's an old joke. But they say, but they are frightened of excommunication because all of the rest of the cult will turn against them and they'll start stagging them in the back. That's the thing. And now, before I go any further, where is it now? Mark Anthony said, a bit late to the show tonight. Eric Von Essex, just curious, have you got strippers in the room? As I keep seeing you look round. Now, what it is that my neighbour's opposite she's got all the curtains and windows open. No, I'm not. No, she hasn't actually. The fact of the matter is, I'm actually on Rumble as well. So no, don't keep on YouTube. It's very friendly here. And we've got a total of we're 2 people now on Rumble. Whee! And we've got a one loyal one who's in the chat. Hello. You see, and I'm not waving at Nathan. I'm actually looking at the other screen. Do you think I ought to show
Well,
them?
I've come off it because I don't want it affecting the stream, so I've come off it so there's not too many videos on. So that you've got two genuine subscribers in your Rumble stream.
Hang on, there it is. That's the Rumble screen. You see, there it is. You see, and that's what I keep looking at. So my secret is out now. It's on the other computer, and now I'm all on the Tiz was here. Here we go. That's it. See, right. Oh, and I'm showing off my new camera as well. Not bad, is it?
All right. Because you got some new hardware, whatever.
Well, sorry, we're talking about the strippers now. We're talking about hardware, or
oh, I'm quite happy to talk about strippers. I prefer to see strippers than talk about them, though.
Yes. No, you was talking about hardware. You see, no, I've got myself another camera, so hopefully it won't go off and come back again, dark and light.
Oh, yeah. I always wondered what was causing that. I thought it was a gremlins at YouTube checking on you.
I think it's just a shitty camera. That's let's see if we've got our loyal. Oh, we're up to 4 now in Rumble. Hey, hello, hey, because you realise if we say tit and bum on YouTube and we get banned for saying tit and bum. Oh, sorry, I said it. You're on Rumble, see? So there we go. That's it. Right.
You're going to need a little counter in the corner to tit count. I think we've already got about 50 so far.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Yeah, so there we are. Now, we were saying, sorry, I forgot where we was. Where was we? Oh, yes, we were talking about groups and how they fall. Yeah. But if you notice that everything is in your face, teamwork, and that type of thing to get you regimented. At school, you all had to be part of a group. And look at the words class. What class are you in? Think about it. Class. Well,
yeah. It's another hierarchical word, isn't it? Putting you in your place and making you know that there's always somebody above you, there's always somebody below you. So you've got to aspire to step on the ones below you to get as high up the pole as you can, I suppose. Isn't that what they teach?
The headmaster, all he wanted is trophies around his wall in his room of sports achievements. So if you're crap at sport like I am, I mean, I can't even catch a bloody ball. I can't kick a ball, catch a ball. I am the world's most useless sports person. The only thing I can do is cycling. People say, "Oh, you're watching Tour de France." No, I'm not interested in Tour de France. I just like getting on my bike and having a nice little cycle. That's all. But no, seriously, I'm useless at sports. If a kid kicks a football at me and I go to kick it back, they come out and hit me in the face. I just got no attitude to sport. I used to play not squash. What was it now? What's that thing where you have a dead budgie and chuck it over, pat it over the badminton.
Oh right. That's a posh sport.
It was posh, yeah, and I got quite sort of, I want to say good, average. I think I got average at it. Yeah, that's about it. But yeah, sort of bing, 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 But no, seriously, I just got average at badminton. I wasn't crap at it really, and
yeah, I've got to be honest. I don't think I've ever played badminton. It never appealed to me. Just seemed a bit weird. I mean, it wasn't even a ball. It was just a little shuttlecock. Maybe that. I'm not saying nothing on there. The tit count's just got to go. So I never saw the appeal with it.
It was a bit like, my dad was good at snooker, and I played against snooker. He absolutely hammered me. And the only time I've knocked two balls together, no, I won't say that. I won't say the only time I knocked two balls together is when I stood on the garden rake. Anyway, sorry, a terrible joke. But quite honestly, no, it was table tennis. My dad was good at. I think he was a champion in water. And I played table tennis against him when he was in his early 80s. Absolutely unbelievable. He would actually put a spin on the ball and he just went, he didn't move in his feet, running backwards and forwards, sweating the guts out. He just going, He could have had a cup of tea whilst he's doing it. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. But no, I've never come from a sporty family, really. I've just
Yeah, I've got to be honest. You'd mentioned too there that a table tennis I was atrocious at. And people used to really smack it at you. And of course, you could never catch up. There was people who were good, and there was people like me that were up against the people who were good, and we never got a chance. And then we just kind of got bored of it and walked away. So
yeah. Well, that's it. But I think the most boring one for me is golf. How can anybody play golf? It's just see it on television. Television, you see the sky and the chemtrails. It goes like, oh, you know.
Have you noticed, actually, this curious thing with golf? They always seem to put it next to a main road.
Yes.
I don't know whether that's just the ones that I've seen, but every single golf course that I've come across, there's always a main road going past. I'm thinking, well, surely you'd want it as far away from like a motorway or something, because it's a hazard, right? You're gonna smack a golf ball and it's gonna end up in a coach window or something. But there you go.
Well, the Swiss have shooting ranges that go across a main road. Seriously, the target's on the other side of the road. So as bullets shoot across the top, and nobody's ever been injured. That's Switzerland. Yeah, because you can actually sit on a bus in Switzerland with a machine gun. Nobody's taking notice because all the men are armed. Every house is armed to the teeth now, because they've got this idea of a militia where all men up to the age of 50 have to have 2 weeks of military training a year, I believe it is, and they're mad on shooting. They're obsessed, but it has the lowest crime rate in the world. Well, one of the lowest crime rates in the world. Criminals, but they're trained out to use it. They're not amateurs. They're not idiots. They're actually trained out to use them. But
so I don't know whether I misheard that. So did you say that Switzerland's got one of the highest crime rates in the world?
No, lowest. No, lowest.
I was going to say that it wouldn't make sense that it was high. To be fair, I mean it seems like it's got its shit together, but then again, when you realise what it's involved in and the families that like to stop over there, then you kind of understand why the crime rates are low, because all the criminals are in the mansions, the hotels, and the hilltop fortresses.
Correct.
And the banks. Oops, there you go. Well,
yes.
The Swiss, in terms of militia, they always used to have the halberd militia, didn't they? And they were ruthless. Back in the Middle Ages, they used to have halberdiers, which would just butcher anyone that they went up against. No quarter given, no quarter expected. So I'm wondering if if it comes from that. They must have kept that tradition.
I know that when America was set up, and there's some Americans in the chat that could advise me on this, they started the militia, and that's why they had the Minutemen. They could be called out in a minute to fight the British. But I think that I don't like anything compulsory, and the militia is compulsory. And in Switzerland, they have compulsory national service, which I totally against, because everybody's different. We're all very, very different people, and regimented into a regiment. People are cut out of it. I mean, like Steve, he was cut out. He was ex-army person, and I admire him, but I couldn't do what he does, and he probably find my lifestyle boring as crap, But by the way, we've got excuse me, I'm not looking at the stripper. I'm looking at the neighbour over the road who's stark naked. Okay?
We absolutely believe you.
Said he's put a link here. Rumble Vin Anderson. When we are gone, will any remember a time before smartphones, blue skies, a yellow sun, food, freedom? What did I miss? What are the backstage strippers? That's Vin Lenderson. Yes, that's on.
But so you've got them all excited now.
got him coming over all unnecessary now,
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, mate, if you want to get your viewer ratings up, get a couple of naked chicks. You'll be all right.
Well, I've actually found. I actually did a show with Chris the Gardener, and I found a picture from Naked Garden Day or something in May. She's this lady. She's stark. She just had some sort of, shall we say, statistically placed flowers in front of her. bloody viewing rates went through the roof when they saw that intro picture. Oh, bloody hell. And then they went, oh, we could talk about bloody golden all cross and switched off.
It's the best of both worlds, though, isn't it? You could call it Eden, naked and Eden.
But I think we ought to appeal more to women. So I was going to sort of take my shirt off one week, a little bit of this, a bit of that.
I'm going to keep mine on. I'll get my hammer out, but that's about all you're getting. I'll leave my top.
Right. So where are we now? We were talking about groups, and I think that people, as I say, they change a lot, and I found this at work as well. I was a freelance chap and working all. This is before computers, This is when Queen Victoria was on the throne. Going back a bit, we used these primitive things called drawing boards, and you had pencils and pens and did all that sort of stuff. That's before CAD, and of course you can work from home now. But this is where you had to go to an office, and this is what I liked about being freelance, because you had all the permanent staff, or the permos as we call them, all sort of crawling around the big cheese. You could be a bit sort of, I don't know, a bit rebellious, a bit sort of, oh, didn't be shit really, That's what I like, because you'd be, when the contract's ended, you just drift off to another contract, and you had to get another contract. But I just like that kind of not being permanent in one place. That was something nice, but you are still a slave to the system. That's the big problem. But I don't
think there's any non-slaves to the system at the minute, because it's all pervasive, and anyone who thinks that they're outside of it, I would ask, how long do they think that's going to last? A lot of people who've said to me that, if it goes full tyranny, they're going to get in the camper vans and drive into the countryside. Well, good luck with that. How are you going to get your petrol when you need a checkpoint and they don't accept cash, and you've got nothing to trade with? And where are you going to hide? You're going to hide in a cave? Is that the answer? We're going to go back to caveman times where is that what's going to make society happy? I'm not convinced. And then what about the drones they'll send in after you? Heat-seeking missiles and all the rest of it. Interesting. But I'm not sure the system can be escaped at the minute. I think it's a case of we either come to our senses and put a stop to it, or brace for impact. Seems a bit serious.
I agree with you. This is why. I think I want to do another survival show. When I say survival show, I'm not talking about rubbing two sticks together to make a fire and in the woods and things like that, because we're urban people. We wouldn't last 5 minutes in the wild. We're just urban people. But I think it's living, actually say, avoiding the establishment. And I've noticed, was it the Piper Alpha disaster? Do you remember that oil rig that went, that fell over into the sea?
It was a few years ago.
It burned.
Yeah.
It was quite a few years ago. Now, what happened on there? Did you know they had offices? Because I worked with blokes who actually worked on oil rigs, and they had offices there. And you could actually, they said it was terrible. You got paid a lot of money, yes, but your time off, you was at work all the time with the colleagues and that. And it's a hell of a long way out, by helicopter to these oil rigs. There's some quite amazing sights. They saw things like whales and the sky and things like that. But what happened with, I think it was Piper Alpha, I might be wrong. All the chaps were told to abide by the health and safety rules and stay in the meeting in this place, do this and do that. And they all perished. But the contract folks who took it onto their own and got into the boats themselves, they survived. They didn't do what they were told, and they survived.
So it's more about adaptation and overcoming, isn't it? It's kind of like being prepped, independent of mind, and ready to do what's necessary, as opposed to following orders. And we know this, and we should do it by now. But I would I would think that the rebellious types would have a better chance of surviving because it's their nature to. What am I looking for here? It's their nature to not comply with the rules, and therefore they're always seeking to find, shortcuts and ways around things, and survive. Essentially, yeah.
Well, I'll give you an example. In Nebworth, which is near Stevenage in Hertfordshire, the centre of civilization, as we know it. I was there about 20 years ago, and there was, you remember that time when farmers used to burn off their fields? There's a time when they don't do it anymore, but they used to burn off their fields. I think it was around about September, October time. The bowl-headed farm will be out. Anyway, on with the story. The field being burnt off, which I think got out of hand, and the smoke was going across the road, and it was quite bad. And I drove through the smoke whilst it wasn't too bad, so I went around the side turn out the way of the field to go back and take a picture of it. And I started walking down the road, and then suddenly the smoke was coming up. This was sort of, I explain it. You've got Stevenage and Nebworth, and there was built on it, fields in between. So I went to where it's built up, and I thought I'd be safe to take a picture. No, because I was reading the photography in the days, and I thought, sod that, I'm not going to take a picture. I got back in my car, and I'm driving out of here. When I got to the bottom of the mountain, there was a policeman on duty, and he said, and he directed me towards the smoke. So I ignored him, and instead of turning left, I turned right, and he banged on the roof of my car. And I thought, sorry, mate. Now, if I'd have gone left, I'd have gone into that thick smoke. Ignoring him, I saved a lot of. I don't know what would have happened if I'd have gone into the smoke, but the soppy sod probably didn't know his left from his right, and that's why he was. I mean, what a thing to do to direct somebody towards the problem. He's driving away from the problem. That's what I did. So I took it under my own, and I think, sometimes we got to do what we're advised to do for health and safety. But when you can see logic above bureaucracy, you apply logic. And there I was seeing logic above bureaucracy, and that's the thing. And
I would argue actually that intuition's got a lot to do with that, and I think intuition's largely been knocked out of the human species. But again, if you're more prone to following orders, even though that you know you're going into immediate danger, then there's something not quite right with that, isn't there? There's something not quite right with your thought processes and your logic.
Well, look at the First World War. They knew they were going into their death, going over the top. And the French, you see, people believed that the First World War, we had the armistice and all this. Well, they're not told the truth, because what happened is the French army mutinied en masse, and the German Navy mutinied en masse. And that's what brought the First World War to the end, because the French, they said, go over the top and said, it's done. And that's what it needs. Stuff. We're not doing it. And they used to make bleating noises in front of the generals, like sheep. Take the piss. And the German Navy, they mutinied, and they marched on Berlin. And as they were marching towards Berlin, they was picking up rifles. They were bloody angry. So I think, and the whole sort of First World War, there's a lot more in it than that, because there was a lot of problems being stirred up in Berlin by the communists. But we won't go into
our old friends this strike again.
Yes, but this is more of a rumble type thing we can go into. Who was really behind?
I would leave some of that to
yes, we'll leave that out. But what I was going to
say, unless you put an
educational
educational disclaimer, you might be able to get away with it then, because technically we're only reiterating what happened in the past, aren't we? Really, so.
Well, that's right. And what did the English do, or the British do? We did what we're told. I mean, there was a bit of mutiny. I think there was a play called the Monocled Mutineer about and it was more the senior ranks, but not that much, not like the French. Oh no. And I think this is the thing. We've got to use this, and if you want to find a leader, look in the mirror. don't really, and this is why I don't like voting. Voting for some bozo that's going to take over you. It's going to tell you what to do. Get stuff. No, you know.
Yeah. Well, you've just touched on it there, right? So the whole order following process, the whole do as you're told, it's very problematic for freedom, isn't it?
Yes.
Because the whole idea is that the more people comply with orders, regardless as to whether they're rational, they're good, they're bad, they whether it's for the good of one or many, it doesn't matter. So if you're following an order without questions, number one, you've been well trained. That's a slave mentality, isn't it? That's like a slave mindset, and it's never ever going to work well. And all of those people in the First World War, I mean, good God, can you imagine the psychology of what was going through their minds at the time that the whistle goes and you're going up, you're going to get shot to hell. And for what? What good is charging at the enemy when you know that you're not even going to make 3 meters? It's just bizarre to me that people went along with that in the first place. I mean, let's be honest, that was a satanic sacrifice. Massive.
Well, it was. Because my dad, he was on the ship going over to D-Day, which is the 80th anniversary this year, and they were the first in, and the first in are expecting to get wiped out because they are to gain a foothold for following troops. So they always put the unfit and the people who've been through previous invasions, and Montgomery expected to have my dad's lot wiped out. And when they were going over the ship, they knew it was suicide, and they were gambling. My dad didn't, but people were just gambling their money away because they didn't think they'd be alive the next day. It's suicide. They knew it was suicide. And but they had to do what was ordered. That was the thing. They didn't give a damn.
Well, I mean, it's not even that simple, is it? Because people think that, oh well, why did they just not comply? Well, the problem with that is if they turn back, they'd get shot.
Precisely.
The idea was you'll do as you're told or you get shot either way. So you either go over the top or you charge at the enemy, or you can turn around, be down as a traitor, and we'll shoot you. Which it's not really a choice, is it? But even I mean, what good is a dead man in a war? It doesn't make sense.
Well, it doesn't. But did you know we had penal brigades who were people that have been naughty boys in prison, and murderers and things like that, and they were actually chained. This is true. To the sides of the landing craft, and just before the thing came down, the front ramp came down, they had the chains and pulled the chains through, so they still had the manacle round, the trains were loose, and then they had a machine gun plate on them, so they had to go forward. If they didn't, they'd just get shot. That was it. They had a bloke in the back, the machine gun. So it's suicide. And the Russians had that, and people said, "Oh, wasn't it terrible, the penal?" But we had the same.
Yeah, this is the problem, isn't it? That people seem to forget. This whole goody-baddie paradigm. It's bollocks. There are no goodies and baddies. There's just people who are pushing the orders, and I suspect there's more than one objective there. And then there's the poor sod who's following the orders. Well, I say poor sod. Again, often they don't get the choice. It's there is no goodies and baddies. If you look at both sides of a war politically, neither of them are good. And both of them, I mean, the amount of atrocities that were committed during and after the war, especially in the Second World War. I mean, look at the amount of atrocities that the Allies committed afterwards. Holy shit! I mean, this went on for years and years and years, and we just, Eastern Europe was a bloodbath, and that was us as well as the Soviets.
That's right. And also, I think that what we're going into here is because what's going to happen. The lead up to D-Day. We were talking about this before the show. There's going to be a series of shows on Rumble and YouTube. And of course, on Rumble, we're going to be a little bit more open-lipped than we can be on YouTube. And on the Monday before, on the 3rd of June, Steve's coming on. And we're hoping to get another...
Just a shout out to Steve. Oh, mate. He put me up at the weekend, actually. He was a very good host.
There's another chappie who will be coming on who's been on a show on Rumble with me, and I'm going to try and get him and Steve together, both ex-army blokes on there, and we're going to lead up it. And actually, on the 6th of June itself, at 6:30 in the morning, there will be a broadcast. I believe it'll be I'm going to do it from YouTube. It'll be my dad. I'll be recording my dad speaking about D-Day, and the reason it's 6:30 is because that's when his landing craft hit the beach. So if anybody's up that early in the morning in the UK. But of course, if you're in Australia or somewhere, you'll be able to see it live, and the chat room will be open, so you can actually go into the chat room as well as it's going. So
I might have to catch up with that one slightly later.
yeah, but I
don't
thought,
think I'll do that early one, and I'm not entirely sure what it looks like.
but no, I think that's a little bit of respect I've decided to do, and I'm going to ask people different questions. But again, we're going to be more loose-lipped on Rumble than probably on YouTube, so we're going to do it on YouTube as well. But back to what we were saying about groups and the groupology and things like this. This is partly this book that I'm writing, Ambient, the Association of Master Bovine Excrement Observers, because I believe when someone's bullshitting, we should look at it as an art form, because they're giving a personal performance to you. You could recognise that as an art form and be a little bit like an art critic. Yeah, it could be improved like this. And people take on different forms, I've found, when they're in a group. They give off their individuality to be part of the hive. You see,
Yeah.
and I mean, we've got. I mean, have you ever come across what I call tit warblers? Have you come across a tit warbler? Now,
I think we mentioned it off air at some point.
That's right. Well, but usually middle age.
Yeah,
and men are terrible people, and then they speaking birds to appease the group leader. See, because
the lieutenants, the reinforcement officers, if you like.
That's right. And a twat warbler is a male equivalent. They're all the same like that.
So have you got your dictionary in front of you? Because we came up with some fantastic terms the other day, didn't we? I think we need to share this a little bit. I'm trying to get
comfortable. You know the mock chew? They're generally teenagers.
That's the one, yeah. That's the one.
The best one is when you get them with any scientific apparatus, which is modern, you see. Do you remember when camcorders came out? You got mock chews then. This is by Garcia's case, of course. Imagine that's a camcorder. They will go. Didn't know what the bleeding hell they're doing, but it's like sort of, yeah, I know how to use a camcorder a lot.
Oh, showing off effectively. It's showing what
also, that's right, in a car. Be next to you in a car. When I'm in my Carina, brake. No, it's a 1989 Carina, you know, immaculate condition, and it's a classic car, you see. And I hate it when a boy racer comes up next to me because you get the mock tune. It's like, boom, boom. And they always do that. And the difference is when I'm in my smart car, they take their noses. When I'm in my Carina, it's like, yeah. And if they've got a girlfriend next to them, you know, I just like to put my foot back and be a little bit of a child. And then see me fueling something. But no, seriously. That's it, yes. I had a mock chew on a bike the other day, on a push bike, would you believe? I was on my push bike, cycling along, and I had the old head down on the racing bike, and suddenly I had this bloke overtake me with an electric one, and he was going, looking back like this, look at me, I'm on my electric bike, I'm overtaking him, bloody hell, you know. Shall we have a quick look in chat?
Yeah, I just to finish there, I'd love to see that where they they're giving it all that, and they smack straight into a lamppost. I would have loved that. That'd be good. Psychopath training school. I'm taking new recruits as we speak. I'd say that you can join, but I don't care.
But you know, when you look at these different people, that they go into these different sort of areas, you know, and then you know, then you got the other ones as doctors and so-called thick academics is what I call them, of course, and they know everything. This is why I avoid doctors, because I don't know what the bleeding they're talking about most of the time. My doctor is Miles, who's an actual doctor, and the thing is that most of the time doctors are very, very frightening because they don't know what the deal they're talking about.
Oh, don't be silly. They know everything. Their computer screen tells them. Doesn't matter about their training.
Yes.
Tap, 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 and Google will give them the answers. That's what qualifies. Oh, wait a minute. Anyone can do that, can't they, these days?
Yeah.
It's
It's beyond belief, but that's another subject for probably next week when Dawn Lester's back on. She's coming on the show next week, kicking and screaming. But shall we have a quick look in chat before we go any further? We've got here. Well, first of all, I'm looking in your ear hole. First of all, we've got here Langston, our chat room, our only person in the chat room. Oh, we've gone down to 2 now in Rumble. He put a link that was unintentional. Alas, we have become truckatarians. We must prepare for when the delivery trucks stop. That's an interesting one. So, alas, we have become truckatarians. Must prepare for when that's a good one, that is.
Truckatarianism.
Yes, because we rely on supermarkets. Truckatarians.
Yeah, but you get the synthesis reaction. That you kind of get the truckophobes after that, and then you'll get the internal divisiveness, and you get truckists. Where does it stop?
And then you have people that actually, what is it now? They identify as being a truck.
Yeah.
So you give them a swift kick up the exhaust pipe, But some interesting stuff to chat now. We've got some Matt in Kingston. He's still on after insulted Kingston. Well, thanks, Matt. Very kind of you. Andrew Britton is putting out film porn today. Well, that's a job, isn't it? I really don't trust him. Sponsored opposition, in my opinion. Well,
he's in Parliament, and I wouldn't trust anyone in Parliament. I don't care how well they sell themselves to the. You're right, sponsored opposition. I like that one as opposed to paid opposition. Yeah,
because
I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me one bit, and I sure as hell don't trust anyone in there. So,
Bridget, definitely a fraud running a panto. Yeah, that's Cat Holly. Because I actually think that who would anybody in chat, would anybody who's watching the show join a bunch of misfits like the House of Commons? I certainly wouldn't want to work in there. And I was listening one night. I used to listen to radio late night because this was years ago. An elderly woman phoned in. She was a secretary in the House of Commons, retired, and she said, "If you saw how childish they acted, you wouldn't vote for any of them." She said, "They're a load of spoiled kids." No.
Do you know what? There's a cafe in Whitby, and it's got a picture of Parliament, and it's basically a bunch of chimps. And it's the most accurate thing I've ever seen in terms of parliamentary. I can't remember the word for it now. But anyway, moving on. But it's very good. It gets the picture. Yeah, a bunch of chimps. Playground chimps, even if you want to take it to that, because I mean they're no better than we are. They've just got more money, and they can speak a little bit more sophisticated, maybe. I'm not even sure that's true these days, because I think they swear just as much as the rest of us do.
But what do they achieve? What do they do? I mean, when you think
they're not even pulling the strings, they're the ones being pulled. I mean, they're not even that important in the grand scheme of things anymore. I mean, once the technocrats are fully in place, the politicians are surplus to requirement. They're not going to be necessary. They're going to be removed. I mean, so they're just nobody's going to shed a tear when they go.
Well,
they're not. Public servants, my ass, they don't have anyone's best interests at heart except for their own. Everything they do, every policy that they bring in, they benefit from it. And their string pullers benefit from it, and the banks benefit from it. We never do. Doesn't matter what they do. We're always the losing side, aren't we? It's like no matter who wins, lose.
And also, what I don't like about it is they're kind of they're so shallow. These people they're kind of they're your best friend one moment and then you're not.
Well, your best friend to your face, and while they're asking for your vote and they're trying to sell you something on telly, as soon as the cameras are off and your back's turned, they'll stab you, and then they'll deny it and gaslight you about it. They're fantastic little lying weasels, aren't they?
Well, it's the same as cults, because you look at cults. If somebody's excommunicated from a cult, I'm talking about religion as well as non-religious cults. that person, everybody stabs them in the back. That's it.
Yeah, but they're only doing that so that the ire of attention is not on them, because they don't want to bear the punishment that the other people are getting because they've strayed or they've caused a bit of dissent. You know, I mean, without turning this on Jehovah's Witnesses particularly, I mean, you know, a lot of people call them a cult, and I would actually argue that they certainly tick all the boxes of a cult. But when they you know, what's the word for it? Disfellowship and, you know, kick people out because they might have a difference of opinion. Yeah. But then they turn their entire families against them. I mean, you know, they're completely invested in this cult, as are their families. And if you walk away from it, that's it. You're done for. I mean, your life's a living hell. And so how can you convince me that they've got your best interest at heart in the name of a loving God when they just leave you to the wolves? That's not a loving, caring act. That's not compassionate.
It's fickle.
Sorry, yeah, carry on, mate.
Well, they're just fickle. This is the thing, and this is what shocks me: how fickle people can be. They could be your best friend one moment, and then because a group leader has excommunicated someone, they will then act like a conductor and turn everybody against one individual. I mean, I went along to one of these truth places that was miles from me. When was this? Last summer, I think it was. And it was about a long way, and there was a bloke that nobody liked there that's been excommunicated, I should say. And I walked in. So I walked into the middle of sort of World War. It's a bit like, I don't know if you've seen the film Pearl Harbor, you know, when these bombers fly into a war. And I said, what the bloody hell's going on? It's a bit like me. I was sort of flying into a war, you know. And you could have cut the atmosphere.
Cold atmosphere as well, isn't it? It's a really nasty, abrasive atmosphere to walk into as well when that happens. Sorry, I'll cut you off. Sorry, mate.
No, that's okay. Don't worry. And now what happened is, I've said this on previous programs. Some poor sod that didn't like him. And all this. And he came along when he's standing there. So I went over and talked to him. Oh, hello. You know, started talking to him. Because I talked to him. Oh dear. You know, and only went there once, but the nicest people I've been to was a place, another truth one that was miles from, I mean, an hour and a half's drive away from where I live. The nicest people I've ever met, and they weren't a cult. And there's only about 7 or 8 of them, but they were really nice people. But the trouble is, it's too far for me to go, you know, but they were really nice people.
You probably find that, it probably works a little bit better because it's a small group, I think. Because then if they wish to remain a cohesive unit, then turning on themselves at that point doesn't serve anything. They'll just disband.
Well, that's right. But he teaches you. You see, the thing is that this is why I avoid clubs and groups. I can't stay in clubs, and I avoid groups now. And I think that, and I always have tried to avoid groups, and it's only because of that. What happened over 4 years ago, I felt very isolated, like most of us did. I thought I needed to talk to somebody because where I live, I was the only one walking around with a stupid nappy around my face, and the only one that hadn't had them, you know, Williams toxic arm brew. You know, that's the thing. So
3 dart finish is as Mark calls it.
Sorry,
the 3 dart finish.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, when you think about it, though, people do change. I mean, you look at the House of Commons, the way they act. They are. If you see those MPs out of that atmosphere, they'll probably be totally different to the way they acted in the House of Commons, because they've all got to act in a certain way. You know, there's a line that they mustn't. That's where the toe of the line comes from. They mustn't go over it, because in the House of Commons there's 2 lines, and those 2 lines are a distance where if someone had a sword, they couldn't hurt the other person who had a sword. That's how it works out. So they don't. So you don't get sword fights in there. Well, it'd be a bit of entertainment, wouldn't it?
I was going to say, I think I'd pay to see it that way. It was actually politicians that were doing the fighting. Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, a bit of laugh, that would, wouldn't it? But those, and all that towing the line. What was that one where they had the speaker and Madam Speaker? Oh, what a load of bullshit! Oh, come on. You know, this is what I can't stand with local councils and things like that. Who can stand that bullshit? I was watching a show the other day. What was it? Richard Vobes, And there's a fella as a counsellor on there, and he said, "Oh, anybody could be a counsellor. Why don't you go along to be one?" I won't go anywhere near it. It's an atmosphere.
Yeah. To be fair, I suspect that's a level of politics that anyone could actually get into, because they've got to maintain a level of the pantomime that's convincing to the people. But the problem is, once you're in there, they start and get their claws into you, and you'll change. The personality changes. I've seen many people who they go in with the best of intent, even at the council level. They go in, you know, they genuinely want to enact change and beneficial projects, and, you know, not waste people's money, time, and effort. And within 2 or 3 years, they're all they're doing is literally towing the party line, as I suppose would be what they're told to do, and they're nothing at all like they were when they went in. And so this is where people lose interest and they lose confidence in these people, and it's the same thing all over again, isn't it?
Well, it is, and I think what it happens. I mean, I won't say too much, but I know of somebody at. How can I say this? Be a bit careful. Yeah, I can say this. A post office I used to go to, which is now closed. It was one of the very few family-run post office, and they sometimes had a temporary. It's not post, was it? What's the person that serves behind the issues the stamps? Postmaster, is it?
Well, postmaster is the boss, isn't he? As far as I can understand.
Anyway,
they
have temporary people come round so that when someone's ill, they step in. They're contract folks, basically. And one of the chaps, I went in there one day and I said, "Where's the person normally is here?" Because it's a very small post office. It's a village post office. There's only one desk there. And he said, "Oh, he's not very well. And, you know, I'm just taking in, I'm here to take over for a little while." Well, apparently this chap, what happened, he was from local and he went all over the place. And he applied to be a counsellor. And he was so horrified by the corruption, he got out pretty quick, because you're expected to go along with it. And it's a bit like that bread factory I was telling you about, where in the 60s, what they did in the 70s, where they were delivering loaves of bread, where they'd deliver, say, 100 loaves of bread to a hotel, they'll deliver 90. And they go somewhere else and they shortchange them. And then they would then sell the bread off privately and make money out of it. Well, anybody that didn't go along with that, they were sent to Coventry. And they're down, and it became like a mafia, again, a cult. Yeah. So my father knew somebody, a friend of his, that got a job there, and he legged it pretty quick. He said it's terrifying. It was really frightening, because they had the big boys going around. "Oh, you should have," and they would say, they'd give you a quota. You know, you've got to supply so many loaves of bread, so you've got to shortchange all these different places for the bread. And if you didn't, you'd be in big trouble. So he got out quick. And
well, I'd say well done to him, but I suspect that we need people like that in there, which is the ironic part. But decent people, genuine people, tend to not want to be in there for long because of that. And so it's a bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it? It's if we just leave it full of vipers and demons, if you like, and that's exactly what we're going to keep getting. So,
well, you're right, and I think also what we're actually getting is we are getting ideological subversion. We don't need any more. Where once upon a time you had, let's say, after the First World War, you had veterans associations that were infiltrated and destroyed from within by government agents. Don't need that anymore, because we've got television or television and the media and computers. And I think what they're doing, they're pouring in doom and gloom, doom and gloom, doom and gloom all the time, and people get hooked on it.
Yeah.
And that gradually,
yeah.
And now what's the next one is there's the bird thing, the flu coming, and then there's something else. All the time. And I think there's a department that makes all these things up. But see what I haven't had yet, rabies. What's happened to rabies?
I don't know. The department you're on about, I think it's called the Lottery and Jackpot Department. It's like an internal structure whereby they put their hands into a very sophisticated hat and pull out some random agenda to just keep us occupied with, I guess.
Yes.
And then you get, it's relentless, it's constant.
You're spot on. Should we have a quick zoom into chat, and then we'll go on to the way government works? And we've got 3 people in chat in Rumble. I'm looking at your ear roll. Yeah, it's amazing, your ear roll. It tells me what's in Rumble, isn't it? It's a planet.
You can see straight through. It's just a tunnel.
It looks as if you've got a boil on the side of your head with that planet. Oh, well, poor boil. I like that one, though, Vin Anderson. Truckatarians. Yes, we'll be a truckatarian. Oh, here we go. Right, now, we got Hereditous Get Fox. I always go in with the best intentions. So we don't really want to know about your private life, but no, sorry.
You need to go on, you know. It doesn't matter what walk of life it is, you know.
Yeah.
No, never mind. I'm going to leave it there because it's going to get smutty again. Tip count 59.
Sword fights in Parliament. Laugh out loud. They're all on the same team. Yes, you're right. That's Hatchy.
Yeah, but I'm all for them slaughtering each other. I mean, I can't say that. I mean, I'm not all for them slaughtering each other. Slip of the tongue. Sorry about that.
Democracy, this is Mark Anthony, is an illusion, a false paradigm. It's there to give the masses the illusion of choice, as George Carlin once said. Labour and Conservative are 2 cheeks of the same arse. Yes, they are. Yes. And what I like is these woke types sort of. They look as why is it that who's that bloke? Who's the head of the Labour Party now? Can't think of his name. Keir Starmer. Why does he always look as if he's got a cucumber stuffed up his arse? It's what sort.
Well, you never know these politicians. It might be worse than a cucumber. I mean, it's better than a pig's head, I guess. But,
DJ Flip says Max Egan often uses the term truckatarians in his videos. Good term.
Yes. A truckatarian, though. No, that's truckatarian.
Truckatarian. Then we've got Hatchy. If the supermarket's closed or were shut, we'd be right in the poo. Yes, you're right. Yes. Mind you,
can I pause at that? Say that actually might be beneficial to us because then people might get off their asses and do something about this. You see, because it's at the point when that happens that people will have no choice but to actually stand up and decide that they've had enough and no more. It's going to take something like this to put an end to all the tyranny. And I'm being nice by calling it tyranny. Obviously, we all know what I'm talking about, but maybe this is exactly what's required. But I think we're going to do it the usual method: is drip, and then before you know it, you've got what they wanted, but you kind of watched it come in very slowly and thought, oh well, that's what's happening now. Oh, it's gone. Oh, we're in shit. Yeah.
Well, look what happened where people are fighting over toilet rolls during the lockdown. But I noticed that they always had a good supply of shit you can buy. Like toilet rolls. I'm talking about crisps and stuff which is very bad for your health.
Yeah. Sweets, crisps, all of that. Yeah. And have you noticed how the prices of that hasn't gone up in line with, say, the fresh fruit and veg and the meat and all, especially red meat? It's and so people, what are you going to do to eat? Are you going to go and spend sort of £10 on a steak that would have cost you £5 2 years ago, or are you going to fill up on crisps for a fraction of the price? I mean, it's crazy.
Well, between you and I'm going to make people might think this is odd, but I better announce to the audience this. I sometimes go shopping in Iceland, not the country, the actual supermarket, Iceland, you see. I know, I had to get that off my chest, you know. And there's this woman in front of me the other week, and it's quite amazing, you see. There's one at Waltham Cross, and there's one at Hoddesdon. Hoddesdon's very sort of hoity-toity. The one at Waltham Cross, I shouldn't say.
That's you banned from Iceland.
Yeah, that's
Iceland.
Waltham Cross one. No, seriously, the two stores are completely different. And know, so you go to hottest one. So, hello, Felicity, come here. You go to one of the water. Oh, where's a bloody fish gone? Anyway, I'm talking around there. And there's this woman, she was obese. I don't think she was morbidly obese, she was just happily obese. And she had various Saturday night thrills around her, the results of a Saturday night thrill, various children. And her supermarket trolley was full up with crisps and all the shit which is bad for you. Those poor kids. I want Coca-Cola, fizzy drinks. What are those kids going to grow up like? They've got no foundation into their stomach of good food, good, wholesome, quality food.
People think a home cooked meal these days is shoving stuff in the oven as opposed to the microwave.
Yeah.
I don't mean I mean literally frozen stuff out of a packet straight into the oven. And look, it's a home cooked meal. No, it's not. It's terrible. Processed as well.
Well, that's what gave me, I think. Well, not I think. I mean, I used to go into the supermarket late at night because I'm a tight-fisted git and pick up these cheap meals. You said, "Oh, that looks nice." That's what gave me, I think, high blood pressure. Because when I told Miles, he went, "What?" He almost fell off his seat. I don't hate ready meals at all now. I make sure I have a good diet. Because you get a bit lazy.
Yeah, I do. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say I don't touch it. I do, but I also acknowledge at the same time that our nutrition and our meal prep and all of that, it's all disappeared pretty much thanks to fast food and processed food, microwave food, all of that. Unfortunately, it's destroyed, and that was part of the family unit as well. That was a massive part of family life, was cooking the meals, sitting around and enjoying the meals, and it was kind of a tradition in and of itself. And part of the family unit is getting rid of that element, which is very, very sad and unfortunate.
The thing is, I haven't got a microwave. I wouldn't use one. I don't like them. I think there's something. I think they're dangerous because they were banned in the former Soviet Union for health and safety reasons. But when you think about it, I've got I wouldn't say it's equivalent, but I've got an air fryer, and I'm using that quite a lot because it's so easy. You just put something in there, bing, It's my new toy. I'm getting a bit of chips, because I do like chips. So if you're in America, that'll be French fries. Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk in their language. Fast food and French fries and burgers. Nutritious.
People often think of short-term consequences to themselves when following ridiculous orders. It's a shallow, cowardly attitude. That's DJ Flips. Yeah. Yes, it's interesting. So hang on, let's read that again. I often think I should. Yes, that's right. Go forth. What? Go forth and multiply. Right. Achi says the WHO, WEF, chemtrails, immigration, lockdowns. Don't mind Achi. I won't read out the next bits. All this. They're all out to get us. Yes.
Yeah.
What's happened to acid rain? I think we should have a campaign to bring back the old worries. And couldn't we vote? It's a democracy. Why can't we vote on what can worry us next week? So you have a big list of stuff and you vote on it. Because I've often said before the election, why don't they announce who the winner is? Same if it's a day, you don't have to go vote then, do you? Because you know who the winner's going to be. So it saves time.
Right. Actually, go back to that one again. The previous comment.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
So, right, I make a point of saying to people, so anyone who considers themselves a truther or conspiracy researcher or whatever, and they go, I always say, look, let's deal with the facts. Let's deal with the things that we can prove, right? As opposed to telling everyone about, make-believe galactic councils and white hats and all of that crap. Start with this stuff. Everything that's on that list from Hachi there, that's what we need to be presenting to people to try and wake them up. Not aliens, not galactic councils, or 4, 5, 6 dimensions and all that garbage, because this is the stuff we need to work on. It's concerning. How the hell people still cannot see what's happening to the skies is beyond me. And this is there's a term for this called full spectrum dominance. So they get you in the air, they get you in society, they get you in politics, they get you in your food. everything is now designed to kill you or harm you in some way or other. And that right there, that if we can get this into the consciousness of the general population, we might actually stand a chance. So yeah, well done, Hachi. That's the stuff. And there is actually, it's not like we can't prove this. There's plenty of evidence. There's plenty of patents out there. We can direct them to the UN website. You can actually show them the WEF Forum website. They're official people, the members, all of this stuff, the UN Agenda 2030, all of it's there. And there's no excuse. Anyone who doesn't look into it, then it's digging their head in the sand. That's it. Anyway, rant finished. Comment.
I totally agree with you. You see, there's another thing I wanted to mention. Apparently, HAARP did an experiment as official from the 8th until I think it was the 10th. Now of now what was it now? Last Thursday, I am prone a little bit to depression, but I had the worst. I had a really bad depression. I mean, it was so bad. I mean, my St. John's wort tablets were coming out with a white flag. That's how bad it was. and the Samaritans are engaged. That didn't help. No, I'm joking. Anyway, I was really down on that Thursday, and I don't know why, because I had a real good day on Wednesday. When on my push bike, we got plenty of exercise. So I thought, hang on, that. Hello. Motorists are very kind. They say, "Is any one of you? So you're okay. You've got 2 wheels still attached,
Oh, so we do have some similarities between the north and the south. That's all right then.
They call me Richard Head as well. Can't think why. Anyway, and what happened is Thursday I was really a bad way, and Friday I was. It turns out my neighbour was exactly the same. And on I think it was Sunday, I was out the garden and I saw over to the east. Now, I've been on this quite a long year, and I've seen almost every sky you could wish to think of. I've never seen a blue like it. It was a kind of, I've seen a stormy blue sky, and I've seen nice velvety blues, beautiful, but this was not an inky blue, but a weird blue that I've never seen. And I could tell it was all like clouds. It was all the spray.
Yeah.
And suddenly, after about, it was there for about half an hour, and then it cleared suddenly. And if I'd have taken a picture, it wouldn't have come out. But I could see that with my own eyes. Something weird is happening. It really is.
I'll tell you what. I may have seen something like that, but I've seen some very interesting cloud formations through that particular device that you just mentioned.
Yes.
Or rather, similar ones that we've got in the UK, because that's not the only one. It's just the biggest one, I think, isn't it, in Alaska? But I mean, some of the cloud formations, that natural, they're not, but interesting. I mean, we can get mottled turtle shell formations, ripple formations. I mean, good God, there's some interesting stuff going on up there. Some of it's pretty, unfortunately. But you know what would, if they're going to spray the skies, can we not have a little bit of woke up there? I mean, I'm not for the woke agenda or anything, but can we have a few rainbow colours up there just to keep us a little bit, spirits lifted a little bit of green and blue and reds and yellows, a bit of pink here and there, freshen it up a little bit.
Have you seen the Northern Lights, by the way? Because you're further north than me. Have you seen them?
Apparently we have the Northern Lights, which is totally natural, of course. I mean, when I was a kid, I was told that the only way you're going to see the Northern Lights is to go to Norway, or Iceland, or somewhere very high up towards the Arctic Circle. But apparently, no, the UK gets them now. What are the mad coincidences of that? It's almost like it's something else doing it. Couldn't think what. Yeah.
It's very, very weird. Actually, on looking over into your ear hole,
I've still got Jupiter sticking out my side of my head there. So
that's it. We got Vin Landerson. Oh, we got 4 people in Rumble. Way we got. By the way, we won't keep on me up and look in your ear hole to see what's going on. Vin Landerson said 7 minutes ago. He said filling shopping carts full of shit, hoarding toilet paper while wearing a face diaper. Perfect.
You couldn't make it up, though, could you, really? I mean, they did, but we couldn't.
Yeah. If somebody would have told me 6 months before it happened that it's going to happen, I'd have laughed.
Yeah. Unfortunately, mate, I'd have believed it because I know that people will fall for anything when a telly tells them to do something.
Yeah.
I've seen it again. There's the head. God, I sounded like a proper Teessider there, didn't I? Right, herd mentality. As soon as that kicks in, they'll do anything. The telly's very good at that. That's why it's a medium. It's a media, isn't it? It's a Black Mirror programming. We know all this. Well, if we're looking into the words of it, it's there to entrain and indoctrinate, and it's very good at it.
Right, and that is how I believe the banking families have succeeded so much, because they know how to pull the strings of people. I mean, could you imagine if we were psychopaths and we wanted to start a war with someone? Let's say, think of it, Isle of Wight, all right? So we want to declare war on the Isle of Wight. Why, I do not know. But anyways, say we struck oil there, and Isle of Wight got their independence because they struck oil in the Isle of Wight, or they found a gold seam, and we would then have to get Britain to attack the Isle of Wight. Now, how do you do it? You'd have to make out that the Isle of Wight people are committing terrible atrocities. With that wealth that they've got, they're going to invade Hampshire or Portsmouth. We'd have to find some, and we'd have to have a major outrage. There would be some terrible group from the Isle of Wight that's jumping up behind grannies and blowing raspberries at them or something like that.
Yeah. Yikes are at it again. My God, what are they thinking?
Yeah. But we would actually get people keyed up to go and invade the Isle of Wight. We would. There'd be people at army recruiting offices falling over themselves to go, we'll have a go at those Isle of Wight people, bastards, and all this. I mean, David Icke, where would he? What would happen with him? But it gets ridiculous. I mean, people are actually believing the propaganda about Russia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the real fact of the matter is that it's true. What's his name now? An American colonel. I can't think of it, but he's very, very MacDonald, is it? He's really queued up, and he said it's a bit like a Vietnam War. It's Ukraine's lost. There's no ifs and buts about it. We can't afford. And the only fact of the matter is, if you look right into it, Russia is just taking back which areas that are Russian, basically. That's it. And also NATO has stepped up on them. I mean, imagine if the Russian army, say, let's use the Isle of Wight again, had a base in the Isle of Wight. That was it. That would be an excuse to invade the Isle of Wight, because the Russians have actually opened up to have a base, Air Force base in the Isle of Wight, where they could bomb London. Can you imagine if that had happened? We would invade the Isle of Wight, wouldn't we?
I suspect with a little bit of pressure from your TV spokesperson, absolutely there would. Yeah. But the thing is, with things that are going on in Russia, I mean, how the hell can we trust what we hear anyway? Because we don't know. It's where are we getting our information from? Because largely everything's censored over there anyway. And I'm pretty sure the Russian people are not the enemy, and the Ukrainian people are not the enemy. It's the establishment once again. The establishment's having a war between itself, whilst secretly being allied to each other to push an agenda, and then it's always the people that are going to suffer the cost of that.
Well, it's true what a famous person who I can't mention on here said. He said that, and it's very true. He said he was the head of a and a political group which they don't like, and he said, we got to it out there, I think. He said that I can't mention it verbatim, but the Italian mafia is 100% Italian or Sicilian. Does that mean that every Sicilian and every Italian is a member of the mafia? No, it's just a particular group of them. And this is the thing, they like to put you into groups. You're put into a group here and a group there and a group there. And I can almost guarantee that after we've done these series of shows leading up to D-Day, you get some silly sods putting us into groups. Oh, you're this, you're that, you're doing this, you're doing that. Yeah. No, I just want to be a fly on the wall and tell the truth and seek the truth of what really did happen, not secondhand information. That's it. Because I think that genuine victims of war being shortchanged when you get these charlatans coming along, making films and fiction and Christ knows what. It's really an insult to the poor sods that really do suffer. And that's it. And I think that is the thing. There's always the people that you don't hear that have got the most fantastic stories, I found.
Yeah.
Not the stories, And I mean, people see Saving Private Ryan. Yes, it was a good film. But when I showed my dad, we had to switch it off after 10 minutes. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong.
Well, again, it's all part of it. Propaganda, isn't it? It's just a massive propaganda campaign to sway people's opinions and behaviours. So, will you just excuse me for 2 minutes? I'm just going to check on my daughter. So,
Right,
I'll leave you with the I'll get because there's something there now.
Hello, Big Anderson. We haven't forgotten about you. You're on the other screen, so you're all right there. So there we go. Now we got here Hachi. He says here, you would be well right, mate. My soul is prepared for whatever is coming, as long as your name isn't Richard Soul. No, sorry. I'll make it difficult for them to get me, but certainly not scared of my own passing. Quite intrigued by it. Well, when you come to think about it, it's nature by telling you to slow down a bit, isn't it? That's what death is, Now we got here. Now, I hate to say this, chaps, but I think we're both right. Unless we unite and get rid of those so-called rulers, we're what's named like it's the Germans. Yes, you're quite right. And Hachi says they're all armed in prison. That's quite correct. They are. I think it's more. And we got Stig. Hello, Stig. Morning from New Zealand. We got Stig.
Hello.
Hello.
We've got a bonfire. The field across the way there is a massive bonfire. So
really,
there's our normal lights. There's a bonfire. Sorry. Anyway.
That's all right. The new parallel media. This is Sean Hamer. The one which questions both sides of the monolithic media construct is the fork in the road for those who have seen through the fake truth scam complex. It is, and I think that we can be a little bit more loose-lipped about it on Rumble, Nathan, can't we? I think because
that'll be an interesting conversation. I suspect we might make a few enemies of that one, actually. But yeah.
Now it says here, who doesn't love tossing the caber, Hachi? Well, yes. There's a joke about that, but I can't mention it because that would definitely get me off of YouTube. Now it says here, I've always thought badminton was a sport that was invented for people who aren't very good at sport. Yeah, that's why I did it. And you've just helped to confirm my suspicion, Mr. Financing. Yes, it is. It's actually hurling a dead budgie over a net, isn't it? I think that's really
true, isn't it? Because it takes so long to go across, and it's like, bang.
Oh, Bob Badgie, I don't know what to do with it. Oh, don't worry, we'll use it in badminton.
It's a good use for all bodies, though, to be fair. Oh.
My feeling is that some of the loudest and aggressive characters on demos are thinking they're bashing the establishment, whereas they could be inadvertently playing into their hands. Spot right on. Absolutely spot on. Because I believe there is a lot of controlled opposition. And what the controlled opposition does is depress you. And that's their weapon, depression. Because you get obsessed with hearing bad news. Oh, this is bad. Oh, that's bad. And then you get someone that's speaking out about it. But they're speaking out about it, but they do sod all about it. But they don't tell you how to get out of it. Because I actually think the great weapon is humour. We should take the piss out of these people. We just go laugh at them. That's it.
Well, I wonder with these fearmongers, and there's plenty of it. Look, you just turn on BitChute, for example. Yes, it's uncensored, but you're going to come away depressed and probably very, very highly misinformed with what you're going to come across. And the only thing it seeks to do is to stand you down. It stops you from taking action, because if you're in a depressed state, you're going to become passive and inactive, and less likely to do what's necessary because you fall into that apathetic or nihilistic mindset as well. What's the point? And I can sympathise with it. So yeah, fear doesn't do us much good. It does them or the world a good, putting us in a state of fear. So yeah, they could be giving you an alternative broadcast with an alternative media telling you the truth. But if you're going to come away depressed and lethargic and exhausted, now what use is that? So I think there are a lot of paid agents in the alternative field. How would you even call it that? The alternative media. I don't know.
Well, this is what Sean Hamer says. That's why I really accept people's claim of being awake.
Yeah, damn right. Yeah, well, that's another one. I would say that there's no such thing as being awake, actually. In what he's just said there, it's a term that gets thrown around. I mean, I've got a friend who uses it a lot, and she gets really, really hyped up about it. This person's not awake, and he's awake, and that's not awake. It's like, to be fair, none of them are really awake. I don't even consider myself awake, because that's an end point, right? So we are awakening, we're becoming more aware, hopefully, but along with becoming more aware and seeing what's going on, also we're falling into psyops and traps left, right, and center. And my God, as it said in the Matrix, the latest Matrix film, you people will believe the strangest, weirdest shit, and we do. We
do.
I might look at it there. It's not an exact quote, but
Vin Anderson on Rumble has come up with a beauty here. He said Russia and Ukraine eerily similar to Germany and Poland, Danzig 85 years ago.
Oof.
And he's right. It's very clear. I think actually, Vin Anderson, I think it's possibly closer to the First World War, because what you have is Ukraine has lost a phenomenal amount of men. Phenomenal amount. They can't carry on. Apparently, they reckon that they've lost so many men, Ukrainians will not be able to reproduce, and they'll be sort of like extinct within a couple of generations because they've wiped out so many men.
What's the population? Sorry, if you know this, what was the population of the Ukraine in the last couple of before the
I don't know. I do not know. I'm only echoing what this general was saying, and I haven't researched it myself. I'll be honest with you there. But he said that there's wiping out. It's a First World War situation, and of course you're against Russia, which they can supply. They've got endless supply of bullets, guns, and God knows what, and very high tech stuff. That's the thing. It's very, very high tech. And well, I think he gave a statement. Was it Britain can get together? I think it's 1 to 3 units to fight Russia. Russia's got about 300. Wouldn't say unearthly. It just be suicide. That's basically it. But as David,
what concerns me, mate, is what happens when Russia and China unite together, because to me it's inevitable it's going to happen. And then we are up against the wolves, because then what? We're outnumbered, we're outmatched. I mean, can you imagine our woke, inclusive army that doesn't want to pick up a rifle in case they offend somebody, compared to the Russian and Chinese hardened men that have been trained for combat and discipline and focus and clarity and all of the things that we now have lost in the Western world? Yeah, good luck. Yeah.
China doesn't have national service because they don't need to, because they've got such a huge population. Their army is volunteer. Russia isn't. But I don't think Russia's aims are to take over Europe at all. I think they just want to settle its situation in Ukraine. That's my belief. I think that it's NATO getting sort of ganging up on them in many ways, because Russia did apply to become a member of NATO at one time, and this was quite recently. And I think that with China, I think they're too busy selling to the world, and I think this what's happening in that island. What is it now? Taiwan? Is it Taiwan? No.
Yeah, yes, it's what? Yeah, it's the old Chinese Republic, isn't it, or what's left of it in Taiwan? So.
I think it's a bit like Britain and Gibraltar. it's there, but they won't take it because it's not in their interests to take Taiwan at all.
They keep having a stab at it, though, don't they? I mean, it's. I'm surprised they haven't, to be fair, because who's going to stop them? I shouldn't really be saying that.
For years, they said that Spain would take over Gibraltar militarily. And I know that when I was young, there was often in the newspapers, Spain is having to build up forces and blah, 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 blah. I think it's when Franco was around. But I haven't. I mean, they've still got a monkey on a rock, haven't they? And they're still...
people's meals, apparently.
Yeah, I mean...
Can I just disagree with you on something you just said there? So, in regards to Russia not being part of NATO and that they're trying to reclaim their old lands, or this for whatever reasons that they're doing it, I've got to disagree, mate, because I think all of this is part of a greater agenda that we're not supposed to be aware of. I think I've got to pick my words here. I'm trying to skirt around the wording, but let's say just like
they will have different views.
So what I'm saying is that in the same way as the First and Second World Wars were put together on, I would argue, both sides to push for one agenda, maybe. And I can't prove that. I can listen to historians and people who've been on the show in the past who would argue that, and I think there's some valid points there. But to me, I don't trust any of them. Again, the people who are the victims of this are the people, not the political orders, not the countries, not the nations, not the state. It's always the people. And so, maybe I'm just ultra conspiratorially minded, and I just think,
I think
it's one big chessboard, isn't it?
Well, no, you're not sort of going against it. I mean, I actually think it's just all part of this. Psychopaths are obsessed with genocide, and wars are and they love it, as long as they're not, of course. As long as
it's a game to them. It's almost like an entertainment for them, isn't it? Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, people getting wiped out. I mean, it's exciting for them. You've got a good point there. I mean, the Truth Movement was a post 9/11 Fed psyop from day one. That's interesting. 10th of September 2001. Data profiling the Insurgent Recruitment Service.
Interesting. I think, Sean, you're going to like my book, mate, when it comes out, because that's pretty much what it's about.
Oh, that's going to be. Please plug it. And
it's not ready. It should be ready by summer, but it certainly would agree with the statement there. And whenever, if you think about whatever they're going to push, whatever agenda they're pushing, they know there's going to be a reaction to it. They know there's going to be an outcry or some kind of pushback. And so they're not stupid enough to let it go. Of course they're going to have agents there. Of course they're going to have a narrative to feed us with. Of course they're going to have fake psyops ready to go. That comment's bang on. Bang on.
Well, so, yeah. And also, this architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth is a load of bullshit. Who's a bloke who's the head of it? I don't know what it is, but I don't want to be rude to him, but he's a typical office architect who's never had his boots dirty. That's the real fact of the matter. He's never been on. I don't think he's been on site. You get architects like never been on site, and you can always tell the difference between someone that's been on site and someone that hasn't. And the thing is that it's a bit like a war. Generals that go to the front and the ones that just sit behind the desk. The ones that have been to the front know a little bit more, not always. And the fact of the matter is, talking about them putting explosives into offices and things like that. Well, if you've ever done a survey in an office, most people are bored. They'll come over and say, "What's going on? What's going on?" And they'll notice what's going on. So, it's out of the question. And what brought those buildings down, I don't know. I think that what Judy Wood said is very, very interesting. She shows the facts. She presents the evidence. You make up your own mind, but I think that there's a vital piece of the jigsaw which is missing that none of us know apart from the very elite.
Right, but so in line with that, look how much the narrative's changed. I mean, even in the conspiracy circles, right, the narrative has changed, the evidence has changed. Well, either it's right or it's wrong, either it's true or it's not. So a lot of people have put forward this, oh, this happened and it was because of this, and these people were involved, and that structure was installed, and well, but now it's all changed. So which one is it? Because if it's all changed, then it wasn't true to start with. In other words, we've been fed and we've eaten up a bowl of lies. And now it's that convoluted. I mean, does anyone actually know what the hell happened there? I suspect it. No, again, I'm not going to go into this on YouTube because it's one of those things that will raise.
We'll do it on Rumble. I think is the best.
Yeah. Although, and to be fair, that particular subject, I'm sick to. I mean, yeah, it was part of my. Let's say, raising of awareness. You know, I mean, you can't help but look into that particular subject as part of your journey into the truth and or whatever you want to call it. I'm sick to death of hearing about it, to be fair, but yeah.
Oh, 9/11, I'm sick of hearing about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to see Ian R. Crane do a lecture on it, and quite honestly, I'm bored with it.
Yeah. That doesn't mean it's not important still. It's just, but like you say, then you kind of get bored of it, and it becomes cliche in the end. Maybe it's working against us now because we thought we had the answers, and now we've got new narratives coming out, and we're told it was energy weapons, and then we're told no, it's not energy weapons. It's thermite, and then it's not thermite. It's come on, people.
There's 1,001 things. I think it's deliberate to keep us guessing. It's like a little guessing game. They like playing games with us. It's a bit like the Bay of Tonkin, that incident that never happened. And it's look at what happened with the Liberty. Was it USS Liberty that got bombed and strafed by a country that we're not allowed to criticise? To bring America into the war raging at that time. But South Coast Rich, hello South Coast Rich, just joking aside though, the discussion is already grabbing me. Oh dear, I hope it doesn't grab me by the short and curlies. And so it says, Hatchie, I know that area quite well in terms of driving through. Oh, sorry, you're talking about where you live, I see. Bishop's Waltham, Fun. Oh, that's interesting. Yes, yeah, here we are.
That all sounds foreign to me. I'm stuck in a north,
Yes, well, you see, anywhere north of Watford, you need a phrase book. It's foreign to me. Anywhere south of the river is a bit. Now, Chris the Gardener says, Nathan, love the backdrop. However, at times it looks like you have got a huge growth protruding from the side of your head. Yes, I just did mention that. Oh my God, we got another thing from just looking at your ear. If you can keep your ears straight and look straight through. So, Vin Anderson says, say what you want over here. I don't mind. All right, Vin Anderson. Right, but thanks for joining us on. Oh, we got 3 now on Rumble. Way.
As for the backdrop there, Chris, this was my innovative. There's a bit of a mess on the table behind me. It's a keyboard graveyard and it's a paper graveyard and there's a load of crap there. So I thought I'd add a background picture just to blur it out. And that's just something I found floating around on the internet. I thought, yeah, I'll crop that and stick it on the background. So I was going to go for something Sumerian, but instead of having a planet sticking out me, I'd have some kind of Sumerian wing or some god sticking out my face somewhere.
That looks good, doesn't it? Better than this crappy old wardrobe's behind me, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, though, there's a bit of an undertone of I'm trying to trigger the flat earthers with this one as well. Actually, I figured, how many flat earthers could I offend with the Saturn and actually that's Jupiter. Yeah. That's Saturn. Don't get me started on flat Earth.
John Heyman now, he's going to throw all his marbles out the pram, isn't he?
We've had some interesting conversations about flat Earth, Mr. Heyman and I. Let's say we're not entirely in agreement over this particular subject, but then again, he's got some good stuff, so I'm not going to say too much.
Michael Benteen was right. It's a square Earth. It's not round. It's not flat. It's square Earth. Do you remember that? It's a square Earth with Michael Benteen. Yeah,
I've actually seen pictures of that with this big square formation next to Mars and the Moon. It's an interesting one.
Yes. Now, hang on, we got John Basingland. Hello, John. Long time no see. You're from the US of A, I believe. And now it says here, Pearl Harbor, Iranian coup of 1953, JFK assassination, Gulf of Tonkin, USS Liberty, Lunar hoax, babies in incubators. Yes, I remember that. OKC Mer building. OKC Mer building. Yes. 9/11, WMDs, and it all goes on and on and on and on and on. You're quite right, John. Spot on there.
There's a song with that, isn't it? we didn't start the fire.
Oh yeah, that was Billy Joel, wasn't it? We did start the fire. Yeah, that a good one. Yeah.
I think it's Fallout Boy have done another version of that, and it's like a continued version. It's different lyrics, but it's very much in the same style. It's like a modern version of it. It's interesting. But so the stuff that is put on the screen there, that's what I call old school conspiracy stuff, right? So that's like old school veteran material. I like it. So I don't like it. You know what I mean? It's
I think John was in the Air Force. I think John was. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But did you see any UFOs whilst in the Air Force? You know, unidentified flying whatevers. You know.
But anybody'd have to kill you.
Yeah, but what gets me is why do always UFOs crash in America? Why don't they crash anywhere else, like in the middle of Hyde Park or something? You know, or you'd be sick. Well, where you are, mind you, would anybody notice? The alien coming over, of course, what would they do? Sorry, that's a bit Birmingham, isn't it?
There you go. You're going Brummie, mate.
Good Brummie, like, yeah, you know. John Basingland, they will take Taiwan one day, just like they ultimately took back Hong Kong. Yes, it will happen sooner or later. Most likely sooner. Yeah.
I think it's inevitable. It's like the greater country that we're not allowed to mention project that's currently working its way into Syria, Lebanon, etc. And it's just a matter of time whether we agree with it or not. And it's on the cards. They're going to do it. And I think it's the same with China and Taiwan, unfortunately. So. Yeah.
But do you remember when they handed over Hong Kong? Chris Patton, I think he was the last governor there. And there is he still around? Has he snuffed it yet? No. You couldn't have Chris Patton there. Anyway, this is Caroline Murphy. Hello, Caroline.
Do I know you, Caroline Murphy? Because I do know someone called Caroline Murphy. Interesting. She's from Teesside as well. Yeah.
That's it. So there is some civilization in Teesside if she comes from Teesside, as well as yourself, of course.
Well, I do know Caroline Murphy, so.
It's terrible what they're
doing. Enough, so there you go.
Oh, that's it. It's terrible what they're doing to the human race and stealing the children. You're quite right there. Yes. And Hachi says it's amazing. John Wayne has fought every battle in history and never killed anyone. He wasn't involved in any wars either, was he? Because you heard the joke about John Wayne on his horse. Do you hear this one?
No, go on.
John Wayne, it's a really hot day. He's riding into town and his horse, he gets off his horse like this, goes round to the back, lifts up its tail and starts kissing the horse's ass. This little old boy on a seat, written a piece of wood, he goes, oh! Throws up. He says, hey, John Wayne, he says, why are you kissing your horse's ass? Why, says that, got chapped lips. What's that got to do with it? It stops me from licking them. I'm laughing about it. Now we've got Aunt Sally. I saw somebody called Aunt Sally somewhere. Where was it now? I saw you. In our country, if we had gone forth and multiplied like we were instructed, we wouldn't be in the mess we're in. That's right. Yes, not having enough children. So there we are. I put myself forward, but did take it up. You know, that's just the
Well,
trouble.
it's some things I don't mind volunteering for. You know, it's
Yeah.
just cause and stuff, worthy cause. Yeah, absolutely. So,
Well, you heard about the sperm bank, didn't you? There was this queue of blokes outside. The woman's there. These jokes are getting more disgusting as the night goes on. And, there's a bloke with a white coat and a clipboard, and he says, "What are you doing here?" She goes, Sorry. You got to think about that one.
no, it's the image that's in my head. I'm getting flashbacks of Ted 2 for some unknown reason there.
Well, it's just. I think that joke is bad.
About that one.
No, not the best joke.
Yeah,
Oh, hang on. We got Van Landerson says, Billy Joel, early life check. Maybe they did start some fires. Ha. You don't hear of him much now. I think he's lost his hair, hasn't he, or something? But,
What?
What's this now? Herodotus Getful says, call it shit, not poo. Shit is more urgent. Yeah, man.
So when he said that, it reminds me of an episode of South Park. Yeah, he's got it shit, not poo. And bum, not ass, not buns, or something.
Well, it's like if you buy a burger from a very well-known Scottish named place, which we can't mention because they got very good lawyers. The best thing to do is just straight down the loo and cut out the middleman, isn't it? When you think about it. Now, Pat Pony, now this is Hatchy, has handed Kia the gear a butt. Oh, this was talking about Keir Starmer having a cucumber up his arse permanently. The gear, a butt plug. No doubt they'll both be a couple of privy nights together. Oh dear. Privy, yes, I get it. Yeah. Now where we're at? Oh, now we've done that one, haven't we? Hang on.
Yeah.
What's happened? Right. That's it. That's it. Yeah, we've done these ones. Yeah. Don't go back to the bottom again. Oh, hang on. We got Robert come on. Hello. Good evening. Better late than never. Note from parents, please. Hello. On. Oh. Hello, Robert. Yes, and you can see an interview I did on Rumble with someone Robert brought on, who's ex-army. Very interesting. Now we got here. No, hang on here. Caroline Murphy says, "No, you don't know. I'm in London." Are you really?
Yeah, she's not in London, no.
London is gone. Yes. This is John Bashington. Hello, John. Again, you are right, Chris. I flew C-30s into Mildenhall. You poor sod, Mildenhall. I mean, what is it? The Eastern Front of the American Air Force. Sorry, I'm only joking. AB on 3 occasions. Stayed at the Smokehouse Inn. Never saw UFOs though. Oh, well, yes. Yes, that's interesting. Smokehouse Inn. After I asked Chris about it, no, because Mildenhall. Oh, sorry, Mildenhall's in Suffolk, isn't it? Yes. But yes, very interesting. Yes, you were in the American Air Force. I bet it's a very different Air Force now than when you was in it. And yes, it's it's sad to see how things change because America. I mean, I'll give you an example. When you see, I actually like the old silent films like Laurel and Hardy, and although they did a lot of talkies. But when you see America in, say, when the 1900, about 1917, 1980, early 1920s, it was the place to be. I mean, they had a film industry, and it was filmed in Hollywood, California. And it was so advanced, cars, people did seem to have quite a bit of money. And it really was the place of freedom. What's happened? It's so sad. It really is,
Deliberate deconstruction, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it is very sad.
What's it? I don't think I can actually read this one out. That's life, but not as we as a gag. So it asked me if I'd like to masturbate in the cup. I said, well, I'm pretty good, but I don't think I'm ready to complete just yet. I'll see myself out.
I've seen a new international sport developing here.
Yes, at the survey asked if I'd like to masturbate in the cup. I said, well, I'm pretty good, but I don't think I'm ready to complete just yet. I'll see myself. Did you see Leslie Nielsen? Yeah, was it Leslie Nielsen? Was it one of these films? Oh, I don't know.
Probably Naked Gun 2 1/3 or something like that.
But he did a series of films that were a failure in America, but a success in this country. That was Police Squad. And they couldn't understand it why it was a success in this country, but a complete failure in America. It flopped. And the thing is, there's so much in it. You had to, and it's more English type humor than it was American. It is brilliant, you know. Now it says here, what we got here, we got John Basilone, Sampal Fidis. Sempre Fidis, that's Latin. Does that mean faithful? Does that mean faithful? I think I don't know. Semper Fidis. No, Fidis is polite. John Basilone, Chris could put on a tuxedo and work out a political comedy routine on American politics, and he would be a hit here on the open mic circuit. Oh, thank you very much, John.
By the way, it's Semper Fidelis, so it's always faithful. So
yeah, always faithful. That is the for the Devonshire Regiment. That's how I knew it, because my dad was in the Devonshire Regiment, and Semper Fidelis. Oh, sorry, I can't pronounce it. That is forever faithful. Yeah, that was their key words or something like that. Now we got here. There. We got John Basilone. Howdy, Robert. Howdy. You and Chris would be a hit here in the States. Now it says here. We got Christopher Gardner. How is your lady, Chris? Is she better? I hope you and the fur babies are all well. That's nice. Yes. Now we got here. Now, John Basilone says, I'm doing well. Just the open prison stuff, like bad joints, but I try to keep my wheels in motion. Hope you are well. Yes. I think it's the Communist Republic of America now, isn't it? I believe, you know.
Ouch.
Ouch. I think Joe Biden's just moderately left a chairman mouth, isn't it?
I think he would be very, very offended at that and snowflake storm you on Snitter. It's warm. My brain's starting to mush. There you go. Snowflake storm. I'll copyright that.
When you think about it, though, you know, America. I mean, it's unbelievable what's happened there. And to me, I actually think it's the infiltration. It is ideological subversion. I'm positive it is. You know, there's some buts about that. Now it says here, hi Robert. She starts chemo. Oh yes, this is to do with Chris, and we'll have to have a healing session. She starts chemo next Monday. Cancer is more aggressive than that. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that.
Chris, yeah, I've got something for Chris the Gardener. I don't know whether it's any good to you, but I've got a ton of apricot kernels. If you'd like a packet sending to you, I'm quite happy to do that. I don't know how bad it is, but you're quite welcome. It's a big packet, and it's apparently it's B17 is quite effective. You know, again, if it's aggressive, so I'm sorry to hear that, mate. But the offer's there if you want them. I can get them sent to you as soon as possible. So,
but on a lighter note, they always say that to get you frightened, so you go along and have their treatment. Because I don't trust them. I really.
I'll tell you what, I've got a few stories on that particular front, but that would be a story on its own. Actually, it's about not my family, but somebody who's close to me. Well, I suppose it's extended family.
For Rumble.
Somebody, yeah, definitely.
But we've got to be careful because we're on YouTube. Sorry, Rumble. But no, seriously, because I've had so many bloody that. But no, seriously, if you want to mention it now, fine. But do you reckon we could?
No, that one would take its own factor. I'd have a word with the lass in question, see if she'd come on and talk to you about it, because it's well, I'll give you the right. Okay, so basically, sister-in-law got diagnosed with cancer 4 years ago, mid-lockdown. She went through all the treatments. They've absolutely annihilated. She got sepsis, lost a leg, lost her breast. Then she was told that she was in the clear, and then within about 3 months, they diagnosed her again, said that she had cancer, it was terminal, it had metastasized to the bone, etc., etc. And then 6 months later, they told her she was all clear. And this kept going on for the last couple of years until they said, oh, well, we made a mistake, actually, you never had cancer in the first place. But yeah, it's a horror story. So, and that's a true story. She tried to sue them as well. And the NHS got off on a technicality. So,
well, they look after themselves, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's put it this way: it would have been a massive payout had she won the case. But
I feel for her. But we're hoping to do, and I've got to work this out how I can do it. You see, a healing show. Now, how are we going to? Because I found that that healing that we do, the diddly stuff. In fact, we could do it right now if you wanted to. Let's have a look now. Where are we? I've lost it. Where it is? When we do the healing sound, we do this. Any minute now. Heal Jeff. Nice healing talk. Heal Jeff. Up in Norfolk. Now,
it's quite nice, actually.
I'm going to have a word with Dawn next week of us doing a healing show, but make it interesting. And Miles is keen to come on, kicking and screaming. So do something. I was thinking on Rumble or something like that. Where we do this kind of, because I've actually had faith healing. It works. It's brilliant. It really did. I'm not religious, but if you've ever had faith healing, I don't know if you've ever had it. It's quite an experience. It really is. And I think that it does. It's quite amazing. I mean, it was not that serious, but I mean, the thing is that I do believe that I better not be careful what I say, but I think that what we've been told is a complete pack of lies, and our ancestors knew a lot more than we credit them for. Because if they were that dumb, what we're doing here, we wouldn't be alive today, would we? This is the thing.
Yeah, I think we do need to be careful with this one, because there's people being kicked off for suggesting. Leave this one for Rumble, just to be on the safe side.
I think we will. Yes. It says, I like. Robert says, were I casting for the next Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, I cast Nathan as a deckhand. Fit right in.
Thanks for that. do I need a patch or one of the?
Did you know?
Is he telling me I'm a scallywag? Is that what he's saying? Do I need a cutlass or something?
I'll try and email you via Richie Allen, or give Chris your email, and I'll rush some of my ideas to you and your lady. That's very nice. That's it. And that's Robert. And the thing is that did you know that we get the idea that pirates spoke like this? That's because I think it's Robert Newton who acted the part, and he came from Cornwall. But apparently they acted, the closest one was like Jack Sparrow, and they spoke Cockney. Most of them spoke with a Cockney accent, apparently. Most of them
makes sense, really, because of all the press.
It's a bit like Dick Van Dyke in Late Mary Poppins. He had a kind of irritable bowel syndrome, didn't he? Every time to speak Cockney. God, blimey, Mrs. Lady Pop, Mrs. Was it Mary Poppins? He admitted afterwards that it was shit. Americans cannot do English accents, and English can't do American accents. Full stop, end of. I don't think very a few can. There are a few that can.
Yeah, no, you got me thinking now. I'm sure
Meryl Streep can do an English accent.
I think Henry Cavill pulled off a decent American accent for Superman. I'm just thinking. I'm trying to see it the other way around. I mean,
mind you,
I mean, Johnny Depp's American. He pulled off a good.
Yeah, he did a Cockney, yeah. And you know, Christopher Reeve though, he had a very mild American accent that was like an English accent. You didn't really notice it. When he spoke, it was a very. I think it's from New England, and New England's a very mild American accent. It's more English, but you know, hang on. John Basilione's come in. Christian Bale can talk like a Yankee. I did not know he was English.
Yeah, good point.
We used to.
We just deconstructed your theory there, Eric.
I used to work with a bloke from Texas, and we was always, I shouldn't say that, we was always taking the piss out of him, poor son. And he actually was in the American Air Force over at Chicksands, and he fell in love with an English lady, and he stayed there, poor sod. It's a bit like he had an English accent, English sense of humour, because somebody else wouldn't have liked it. And we all just had to take on one meeting we went into. We all did bad American accents, and there was something wrong with part of the building. We said, "Or you better send a posse out to find out." And he said, "Will you stop taking the piss out of me?" And he always used to say, "If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have won World War II." He said, "Well, no, we kept it going for you until you could get cute, you know."
That's very considerate.
Well, that's right, you know. But the other one was it. Americans were last in on the First World War, last in on the Second World War. They're going to make bloody sure they're first in on the Third World War.
Well, that's bloody rich here, isn't it? God, let's start the American War while we're at it. No, I'm joking, YouTube. I'm joking, for Christ's sake.
Anyway, I think we've come up to time now. I've enjoyed this. We haven't said half of what we was going to say, but still, it doesn't matter. Hang on, we got here. Says Robert Dawes says Kevin Spacey is a first-class actor and has mastered the English accent. Yes.
I actually, he is. I was just saying that he's a fantastic actor, but he gives me serious psychopath vibes. I mean, just he's got those dead psychopath. He reminds me a bit of Bob Iger as well. You know, the Disney secretary, not secretary, the Disney boss. And they both look similar, and they both got that dead eye look and expression. I don't know, these big psychopath vibes. But anyway, what was the comment just then?
Oh, this is John Basilone. Says the average American has no clue that the Wehrmacht and the Luftwaffe was bled white on the Russian steppes. Yes. Yeah, but the funny thing, the worst American accent, I think, was Michael Caine in Inside House Rules. He had irritable powers. Oh, it was terrible. And the other one, the top worst American accent was Bob Hoskins in An American Thing. And he tried, and he just couldn't. It sounded bad as an English person listening. What it must have sounded like for Americans, it must have sounded bloody hysterical. A bit like Dick Van Dyke trying to do a Cockney accent. No.
I'll tell you, as far as worst accent going in a film is Russell Crowe in the Robin Hood remake, or one of the Robin Hood remakes. He must go through about 18 different dialects and accents. He goes from flipping London to Irish to Scottish, and then in and for the north of English, and then he goes in, and then it's kind of Yorkshire, and then it goes down to he's all over the place. I like Russell Crowe as an actor, and I like a lot of the films he's in, but wow, Robin Hood was painful watching that. It's like, yeah, surely they could have picked somebody better than that for that particular role. It was horrendous. It was all over the place.
Why can't they have an Englishman acting an English part, an American acting an American part? I mean, that is it bothers me. I mean, I know that Ned Kelly, when Mick Jagger acted the part of Ned Kelly, the Americans are the Australians are really outraged that their famous highwayman or robber was played by a Pommy, bloody Pommy Pufter. We don't want that here. They really didn't like that.
Well, I'm just thinking, it is 2024, mate. You want to be careful because then you're going to give people ideas, and the last thing we want is a white man playing a white man.
Yes,
you might offend the minorities that are currently not the minority. Anyway,
we better
there you go. Offended the whole of the internet.
So thank you very much, everybody on Rumble. The 3 people on Rumble. Oh, and a bloke and his dog there. So that's good of him. And there's probably someone in the middle of the jungle somewhere with a little. What's this very strange person on Rumble? Oh, sorry, that's a right.
South Africa.
Yeah, it's bloody flat, isn't it? Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us tonight. Next week we got Dawn Lester, so I can't say tit and bum and naughty jokes. Yeah, she got good sense of humour. She take a couple of my smutty jokes, but not as smutty as tonight, I don't think.
You have to go along with it to get to.
That's of course if YouTube hasn't banned me, and if they have banned me, you'll see us both on Rumble next week. So there we go. See, so and what's this? This is it's okay, Chris. It's hereditous get folks with the jokes. I'm a viz expert. Magafata is a classic so-called expert. Like them experts on the BBC. I like viz as well.
It's either you or me. Who was disconnected?
I think you're disconnected. I can just see you going.
Oh.
All right, see.
Oh.
We can hear you. You're back again. Thank you.
Just
everybody that's joined me on Rumble and YouTube, and I assure you, I won't keep sort of looking into Nathan's ear hole next time because we'll probably have it on one screen. So it's an experiment tonight. Thank you, everybody, looking at Nathan's ear hole. Was it?
No problem.
Said, I'm risking malaria for this stream, and you are joking about it. Cheers. Oh, bloody hell.
Dedication for you.
And thank you, everybody that's been on the show. It really makes it. Next week, we're back with Dawn Lester. The week after is a spare slot. And then the week after that, we've got Steve coming on with Chris the Gardener. But don't tell Chris the Gardener because you don't know yet. Now he's coming up. And we're going to have a series of leading up to D-Day. So that's quite exciting. We will be telling, shall we say, an alternative view. And with that one, was it Fact Hunts? Nothing rude there, is there? The picture of church. Fact Hunt. No. So there we go. Nothing. Would I come out with anything double meaning? Never would I. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. And I have to waffle away while I try and find the outro. It's here somewhere. Bloody hell, where's it gone? Oh, it is. Got it.
It's on the side. It's through my ear.
And remember, I don't know if you've got anything to say before you go. Like, so,
no, just thanks for watching and tuning in. Cheers, guys, and have a good week. And see you sometime soon on the other side of Jupiter with a ring around it now. Apparently, there you go.
Yes. As long as you haven't got Uranus behind you, you'll be all right.
That's over there. It seems to have changed colour a little bit, though. No, it's not. It's changed colour. It's supposed to be blue. Bloody hell.
Hey. Thanks for joining us tonight. And remember, whatever happens, a bloody good laugh and good night.